But yeah, okay, let's see. How do you convert? Well, go to your local Orthodox synagogue. Now, the question is, some people live in places where they have no synagogues. That's a bit of a problem. In such a situation, then you know what? Conversion is ultimately not necessary. There's no point of converting if you're not going to be part of a community. But that doesn't mean that you can't live like a Jew. That doesn't mean that you can't enter the covenant. This is an interesting concept. Someone could actually enter the covenant without converting. Why? Because if you accept the Torah like the Hebrews and the mixed multitude accepted the Torah on Mount Sinai, you are in that covenant with God. However, that doesn't mean you are part of Israel. Israel is like God's experiment on earth with the nation in an attempt to spread ethical monotheism to the rest of the world. Okay? It says in Isaiah, is it Isaiah 56? It says, let the foreigner not say that God would exclude me from his covenant. When he keeps the Sabbath, he circumcises himself, saying that Nochri in Hebrew means someone who's not necessarily a native Israelite. So if it's interesting, there's a statement in the Talmud that talks about people converting from amongst the nations. I'm not saying I encourage it, well, I'm not saying I discourage it either. For sure, you have to convert in a halachic manner. But it seems that in that portion, Rabbi Akiva says that if someone did convert on their own, that person, if they violated Shabbat, they'd also be liable to death penalty. So what he's saying is that Rabbi Akiva is saying that a convert who converts on his own, i.e. amongst the nations, is still Jewish in his eyes. This is interesting. So what I'm saying is that if for some reason you can't convert, you could start keeping the law today. You could commit yourself to that Torah today without a formal conversion. Remember, conversion has to do with legality. You being a part of the Jewish people, i.e. citizenship amongst the people of Israel. But it ultimately has nothing to do with being in a covenant with God. There's people who convert who are not in a covenant. There are people who happen to be born Jewish who are not in a covenant. Karl Marx, Trotsky, Rosa Luxemburg, Larry David, Seinfeld, all these individuals who are a bit atheistical, they may be halachically Jewish, but they're not in a covenant with God. So you yourself today, if you can't convert, or even if you can, today you can decide to enter that covenant with God. A covenant means an arrangement, an agreement. You're agreeing to keep God's law. That's what being in a covenant is, and that's what being essentially Jewish ultimately means, right? Being Jewish just because you happen to be born Jewish doesn't mean anything.